Testing 1, 2. Testing.
Nope, it doesn't work.
Don't be so salty, Austin. I feel bad enough as it is.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Leon, I can hear you.
Okay. Also, hot dog is a sandwich. You are wrong, and here is the proof. I'm putting it in the chat so that you know that you were wrong. So scroll down. The same source you used to disprove me last week, Wikipedia, says it's a sandwich. So you are wrong, and I want you to admit that.
Okay, I'm on the Wikipedia page for list of sandwiches. First of all, we need to acknowledge that you came to this show prepared to continue an argument we started a week ago, so you're really invested.
Yeah.
It says hot dog, origin United States, a Frankfurter sausage served in an oblong split roll or two-halved bun.
Right.
Often served with a combination of mustard, ketchup, relish, and onions. Well, if Wikipedia says it's true, I have to agree. It's the authority to all knowledge, right?
Got it.
So I can't disagree with Wikipedia. That would completely undermine the entire way I live my life. So you win.
Yes. Okay. So how you doing? So, let me do the intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon. Hold up. Now there's a car.
Beep beep.
Go away. You ruined my thing. Hello, everyone. I did it wrong. Welcome to Word Funk. I'm Leon, and Austin and Johnny are also here.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading about sandwiches now.
Yeah, they're all good. I mean, I love sandwiches.
Muffaletta. Ooh.
I don't even know what that is, but I eat it.
It originated in New Orleans' Italian-American community. This contains meats, cheeses, and olive salad on a round bun.
Hold on. Ice cream sandwiches on here.
That's a sandwich.
It says it in the title.
I know, but
Austin, I think the problem here is that your understanding of sandwich gender is really
I have to check my sandwich privilege.
You gotta check your sandwich privilege.
Okay.
Hello, listeners. I'm here to talk to you about banh mi sandwiches.
There's just one entry that says jam, and there's a picture of bread with jam on it.
You can have a jam sandwich.
I mean, it's these things stretch the definition. You could put a stapler on a piece of bread and say it's a stapler sandwich. Where does the madness end?
You're very conservative when it comes to sandwiches. I gotta tell you, it's
there has to be some standards.
This is not some kind of weird populist sandwich movement, Austin. You're straying really close to fascist sandwich territory.
I bet Leon edited that Wikipedia page before sending.
I did not. No, you know how I know? A listener put it in the comments on YouTube. My spam filter caught it because you can't put links in on my comments section without my spam filter saying, "Hey, you can't." But I did notice it in the spam folder, and I clicked it, and that person was right.
Oh my God! The Netherlands have something that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But it reads a soft bread roll containing a ragu-based croquette, often eaten with mustard. That sounds like a corn dog times 20.
I'd eat it.
Oh,
all right. So welcome to our new podcast, Rate My Sandwich.
Yeah.
Or three white guys read Wikipedia.
Yeah. Did you guys get my Christmas presents or what?
Oh,
I did. Also, I had a really terrifying and brilliant idea for something to send to Leon. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through with it because the shipping alone would leave me destitute. But it's such a good idea.
Well, you and I can talk about it later, Austin, because I mean, I'm available.
It's a stupid, really bad idea, but I really want to do it.
I love stupid ideas.
You won't like this one, Leon. This one's at your expense.
Oh, that's all right. I got a lot of clothes.
So this episode
I did get your gift.
Good.
I'm sorry I forgot to say thank you for it, Leon.
No,
but I wound up going up to the UPS store on Saturday to get it. And quite literally, as I was unwrapping the box, I got a call away to my company Christmas party, which I believe you two gentlemen saw a couple of holiday snaps of.
Yeah.
And it turns out that my attendance to that party, while maybe good for my company profile, may not have been so good for my health because the next 3 days I was in the throes of a headache that felt like another universe was trying to break either into or out of my head, along with a fever that could not be cured, and I tried. Buy more cowbell. So I forgot about everything else except for very strange dreams and the accounting supply of my NyQuil.
Okay.
So we're recording this right before Star Wars comes out, right?
Yeah.
But by the time that you publish it, probably Star Wars will be out,
Yeah.
which leaves us in this really weird space where we can't talk about it. But then when people are listening to this, I think they're going to be expecting us to talk about it.
Why don't we just pretend like we know what we're talking about?
Well, by the time
just make up spoilers, like, oh man, I can't believe Luke and Chewie got together. It's really progressive.
Dude, I had no idea that Han Solo was not only the president of the Hair Club for Aliens, but a member as well.
It's really weird that Greedo not only shot first, but shot 8 times, and now Han Solo is dead. I'm also
He shot so hard it went back in time and hit first.
And I think the worst part is that the new Star Wars film further canonized the prequels and undid everything in the original trilogy. I mean, that was a
ballsy move.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Jar Jar Binks became a Jedi and the chosen one, I was
trying not to resort to Jar Jar jokes. The thing about making up fake Force Awakens spoilers is there's a chance we might do a real one and then people will be mad.
The Salacious Crumb nude scene was hot. So,
but maybe people will find it refreshing because the internet's going to be nothing but Star Wars for like 2 weeks, maybe more. Yeah. So maybe this will be like your one refuge from Star Wars. I don't know how listeners are like rolling because I'm sure they're tired of hearing us talk about DC, but Star Wars, we've talked about it, but not.
So I guess we could basically call this episode "There Are No Star Wars Spoilers." Seriously, there are no Star Wars spoilers.
I'll find a way to wedge that in.
Not on purpose, at least.
By the time this is airing, I mean, I usually post this on like Friday or Saturday. We're recording on Wednesday. By the time this airs, I will have seen it. I'm going to see it Friday morning at 9 a.m. in IMAX 3D because I feel like that's the least amount of people who will be there.
Everyone in Tallahassee is gone because I live in like a college town and now it's winter break, so everyone just left. It's like an eerie, like pot smelling ghost town right now. It rocks pretty hard, so I don't think I have to worry about like packed theaters. I can go anywhere. It's pretty good.
I have to wait.
Oh, wait, do you not get it because you're in a weird like moose country or?
No, it's that if I go, I'm probably gonna have to fight like tooth and nail to either like travel out to the boonies and see it somewhere, or is that a word you guys know? The boonies.
Yeah, it means we're like redneck place.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just like occasionally I'll have a phrase or a word or something and be like, is that a Canadianism?
No.
Thank you.
We say boonies and boondocks here too.
My ego is bolstered. But, yeah, I don't know if Stephanie wants to go with me. She's not in the room right now, so I'm just going to eye the door and be like, oh, gee, I guess I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to try really hard to see it as soon as I can, but I might have to wait. That's going to be sad.
I don't know what's going on. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I need to see it right away because I've basically been waiting for a Star Wars sequel since I was a very, very small child. The third movie, Return of the Jedi, came out a year after I was born. So, I saw them all pretty quickly. Not the year after I was born. I mean, I saw them. And it's like I was 1 year old and I was in the theater. No, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot, to the point that I basically downloaded Google Chrome as my new browser just because it has a Star Wars spoiler shield on it that I could download.
Although if you were trying to infect a large amount of people with spyware or something, that would have been a really clever way to do it.
Yeah.
Just pointing that out.
No, it's great.
But I definitely am going to see it soon. Not because I'm as excited as you are, Leon. You're like on a whole other level. But I don't want to get spoiled either. So I'd rather just get it out of the way. And that's a really fucked up thing, isn't it? That culture has reached a point where people see things out of obligation to be part of like a larger cultural conversation.
Yeah.
The corporations have won. We are living in Shadowrun.
Not me. I'm my own man.
Okay. I think it's going to be great when Rilo Ken is revealed to be 3 Ewoks in a suit.
Oh my gosh. There has to be some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't resist putting in some kind of weird twist that's relies on other canon, like Jabba the Hutt's son or something. You know, there has to be some shit like that.
Considering that, I mean, you know, like the question I think comes from exactly how much J.J. Abrams had to say in it. Because Lawrence Kasdan, I don't think is gonna like give 2 fucks. Lawrence Kasdan, I think, is just gonna be like, no, watch me write this bitch. Sit back. But if J.J. Abrams has a hand in it, like if he was standing over Kasdan's shoulder, yeah, there's gonna be shit like that.
Well, this is a perfect point to segue to the other Star franchise, which recently had some news come out. Did you guys see the Star Trek trailer?
Yup.
Everyone is furious about. I don't have any Star Trek knowledge, so I don't know why everyone's so like mad, except for the fact that
I saw a diagram of it, but I didn't actually see the thing.
My understanding is that it doesn't look like Star Trek, but neither did the 2 other films. Is it look less like Star Trek or what?
I am furious, and the speed in which I am furious is actually quite fast.
How
fast would you describe it? Is it? Are you uncomfortable with the speed? Is it too fast?
It's not too fast, but it is too furious.
I would say probably 3 fast, 3 furious.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's Furious 7.
Is it Furiosa?
Okay, so anyway,
that changes everything.
Yeah, that's the most furious something can be. Leon, explain why everyone's mad about Star Trek.
Okay, here's what's going on. There is a new director, and it's I believe his name is Justin Lin. He is the person who is said to have saved the Fast and Furious franchise by coming in somewhere in the middle of the film series and making them better. I haven't seen them, so I can't speak to that. That's just the common wisdom, I guess. Anyway, here's the thing about Star Trek, and here's the thing about the new Star Trek movies. The new Star Trek movies don't feel like Star Trek, the television series or the movies. They feel... I wouldn't even say they feel like Star Wars movies, because Star Wars movies have a kind of, at least in the first 3, a kind of like spirituality to them.
Yeah, you gotta have that scene where the theme goes...
For the record, Justin Lin has the best Fast and Furious movies, but he also has the worst one, and he also ruined True Detective. Okay. So,
all right.
Which one's the worst one?
Tokyo Drift.
And shut your face about True Detective.
He directed the bad episodes of True Detective. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. We're getting off track. I need to explain Star Trek to people.
Yeah, Justin Lin, Star Trek, go.
Okay. The first 2 Star Trek movies, people will say, "Oh, these are more like Star Wars." Like, no, they're actually not, because they're just like action movies. Star Wars has a kind of like mythology about it, whereas the first 2 Star Trek movies don't.
Would you say they're more biting Marvel style?
They're actiony kind of movies that are like semi-funny, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, kind of like Marvel superhero.
Like they're like attractive people running around through CG explosions and stuff.
Yeah, I mean they're the first Star Trek reboot movie was not a bad action movie. It was just a bad Star Trek movie, which is not the worst thing in the world. So I give it that. The second one is bad at both of those things. The third one doesn't even feel like, but I will say this: Star Trek from 2009 and Star Trek Into the Darkness, I think they still tried to like almost feel like Star Trek or like Star Trek Light, based on the trailer. And admittedly, this is just a trailer. This doesn't even feel like that. They made the trailer basically a music video for the Beastie Boys song "Sabotage," which was briefly in the first one for like a minute. But this is just a lot of goofiness, and I understand that this was co-written by Simon Pegg, who was a fine actor and writer, but I don't.
If Simon Pegg wrote it or a lot of it,
that
changes everything. Simon Pegg's super good.
He is, but that's not what I want out of a Star Trek movie. There was one. Actually, let me rephrase that. There have been 2 comedy Star Trek movies: The Voyage Home, which was kind of a comedy, and 5, which is an unintentional comedy. They are a good and terrible movie, respectively. There's no. Star Trek doesn't do comedy well. I'm sorry. Every time that Star Trek tries to do it,
but it does it. I mean, they try nonetheless.
They do try, and look. You can.
You're my number one, Dad.
Look, you can only. Okay, let me put it this way. You can only tell so much from a trailer, so it is. I understand that it is far too soon to judge this thing, but based on what evidence we have, I'm not excited. Much like, when 2 detectives show up at a crime scene, they're just getting the evidence. They're just putting it together. They have a good idea about what happened, but they certainly haven't even gone to court yet. So we have just arrived at the crime scene, and this is a fucking crime. And we certainly don't know the outcome. We don't know all
Detective Thomas, it looks like somebody's tried to make another Star Trek movie. God damn it, if only I had one cold drink of bourbon for every time some sicko tried to do this.
The problem is, based on what evidence we do have that's in front of us, I'm not excited. And all I can say is thank goodness we're getting a Star Trek television series instead. Because I don't like that this...
Not instead, along with.
Yeah, along with. So all I can say is... I'm not happy about where basically my favorite, franchise is headed, but we'll see, I guess.
Can we acknowledge that if people like us didn't bitch about trailers for movies that aren't going to come out for 2 years, the internet would be a much different place? That's not the train has left the station on that one, guys. Everyone does that, so I don't know if we can take a moral stand against jumping to conclusions based on trailers.
No.
I didn't watch it, and I'm not jumping to any conclusions in particular, except maybe the conclusion that I'm liking this bathrobe.
Johnny is comfy. Can we also talk about J.J. Abrams' Beastie Boys thing? Because
I guess I don't get it.
He is really into the Beastie Boys and a way that is worse than people realize. Yes, he put sabotage in the first Star Trek, and they use it for the new Star Trek one. But the droid in the new Star Wars, BB-8, Beastie Boys. They have 8 albums. There's also a pilot that I haven't seen. That
guy
the movie,
really
obviously.
likes to fight for his right to party.
There's a pilot in the new Star Wars, and I only know this because I saw a toy of it, and his name is Elo Asti, which is Hello Nasty, the Beastie Boys song.
I didn't actually know this about J.J. Abrams at all because I don't care about the personal lives of directors very much. I can only assume that somewhere in the upcoming Star Wars movie, there's going to be a droid that's an actual brass monkey.
Yeah, there has to be. No, someone I follow on Twitter pointed it out. There's this whole list of Beastie Boys references and all of his shit, and it's totally out of place.
What I need to know is there going to be any intergalactic planetary?
There has to be. There's nothing but.
That's just too much for me. If I go and see Star Wars and I get intergalactic planetary, intergalactic, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Guys.
References.
Yeah.
So
everyone's sufficiently alienated?
Yeah. Anything? There's other topics we can discuss. Austin, you brought up something in the chat that we've sort of discussed before, but now there's new information on it.
Yeah. Do you guys know that Konami says Hideo Kojima is on vacation?
Which he's vacation.
Yeah, it's a really long vacation, and he's doing some weird shit on vacation, like starting other companies and inking deals with publishers. It's quite a vacation if I've ever seen one. The original
some of the most productive vacationing I've ever seen in my life.
He's getting so much work done. Yeah, Konami are liars. But no, we've been following the Kojima fucking soap opera for a while now, and it appears to have basically reached its end in that he has started a new company, and the reports weren't clear at first. Like, people said that he was making an exclusive for Sony, and some people said, no, it's just going to be published on the PlayStation 4, it's not exclusive. But the latest seems to be that it's going to be a timed exclusive, and then will come to PC. Whatever game they're making. Obviously, it's not going to be anything he's worked on before, because all those rights are stuck with Konami, so it's not going to be Zone of the Enders, Metal Gear, or PT. But he has a new thing, and
You mean it's not going to be fucking? Oh God, what was it? Body Stalker?
Snatcher.
Snatcher.
No,
Damn it!
it's not going to be Snatcher or
I'm not gonna
Police
get. I'm not gonna get Snatcher 2.
I don't think you're going to get anything too, because he doesn't own any of the things he made. So it's going to have to be an original IP, but probably it's going to be at least reminiscent of the things that made him famous. You would think. But he's free. He's finally free, guys. After all this time.
This is always good news to see that, like, great, I don't know, artists in the video game industry manage to always kind of like find a home. I do feel really bad for all the people who worked at Kojima Productions. I mean, like, Konami.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess they would have changed it to. I suppose, like, it's possible that he might have picked up a lot of staff from there, but
yeah, he was like a cult of personality there. They opened up a studio in California for him. It's like all of that has collapsed, obviously, and Konami won't be making like AAA games outside of, I think, like their soccer franchise anymore. So definitely a lot of people are going to be out of jobs, but that's not his fault.
No, it's not. I would like it. Just it makes me sad. I'm happy that we're going to be seeing more Hideo Kojima games because now that I think he's off the leash, now that he's off Konami's leash, at least, anyways, I think we're going to see different things from him. And
he's also off their money teat. That's the thing. Like, is he going to be able to realize any of his crazy visions without that Konami cash? Because I know obviously he'll be able to find investors. He's a big name, but
if it's going to be if it's going to be a PlayStation timed exclusives, you know that Sony is going to throw money into that pot.
But not Metal Gear Solid money. You know what I'm saying? Not AAA money. Not Fox Engine money.
No, that's not necessarily true. I mean, maybe not making his own engine money or something like that, but like, what is it? Crystal Dynamics says that Rise of the Tomb Raider probably would not have been made if Microsoft didn't step in and fork over some money for a timed exclusive.
Yeah, so that happens all the time. Same thing with Bloodborne and Sony. Look at Bloodborne compared to Dark Souls 3, which you would think would be a more advanced game because it's coming out later, but the graphics don't even compare because that Sony money really helped a lot there. I definitely think there's going to be a cash injection. I just don't see it being anything like what he's used to working with. He's going to have to make smaller games.
Considering that he's habitually going over budget and over development cycle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is going to have to look over his shoulder and rein him in. They're going to have to Tim Schafer that guy.
Oh, you know what the saddest thing is? Maybe not the saddest, because a lot of people are losing their jobs. Second saddest thing, what's going to happen to the Fox engine? Who's using it? Anyone? Is that just going back in the vault?
I know. I think it's going to go back in the vault, and that is just fucking ridiculous, because that is an amazing piece of technology.
It's like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It really is. There are so many new engines that are out these days because everybody wants to have one, and then there's all these new free to develop policies for certain things. Like Unreal has always been really good at working with developers, but their new engine where they're just like, yeah, use all of it, like every single bit of it. If you decide to sell what you make from it, we're gonna have to take a bit of that. But in the meantime, just go. And I mean, Valve is obviously working on Source 3. Source 2. Is it Source 2? Source 2. I don't know what Valve is doing.
Although Half-Life 3's existence in some form, like a Word doc maybe, was leaked a while ago. And people are so jaded about Half-Life 3 that it barely even made headlines that it was actually leaked. That's hilarious to me. We're all just so fucking done with it.
Yeah, but the Fox engine is some of the most impressive tech I've seen. All you got to do is just look at You know, look at Ground Zeroes, look at the Phantom Pain, and look at PT.
Mm-hmm.
Like it can do things.
I would say, like, besides Naughty Dog's proprietary stuff, it's the most impressive I've seen on consoles. But let's not bore Leon. Do you guys have any other topics? Like, I know, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I could talk about it all day. Did you guys have other things? Because I don't know if you saw, I went bananas on Twitter last night at the Super Smash Brothers reveal thing. Do you guys have any idea what that was about?
Let's continue the strain here. I know that Bayonetta is going to be in the new one, and then people were upset that Bayonetta was too sexy for Smash Brothers, even though they've had like Samus in a bikini and like, you know, Waluigi.
Waluigi, unfortunately, has not been in Smash Brothers. He's an assist trophy. You can't play as him.
What?
Yeah, I know. So there's
that's what you call wacky.
Some bullshit.
The Super Smash fandom community thing has had a couple of characters for a long time that they wish could be in it, and Bayonetta was one of them, but was always assumed to be too sexy. So like people didn't get their hopes up. And now that she's in it, there's some kerfuffle because like a lot of people are happy. Obviously, some people are not so much. But that's like not even the thing that's getting everyone's panties in a bunch. Definitely was the first reveal, which was a new Fire Emblem character, which, you know, made me happy. I can't get enough of Fire Emblem. But people are goddamn furious because Fire Emblem already has like 6 characters in Smash, like more than Donkey Kong and Zelda, more than Metroid. Like Fire Emblem is just so fucking over-represented. It's amazing. I can't be happier.
But I mean, there are so many, like even I know this. There are so many characters in Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. That it's just the well that keeps on giving.
It's really strange because Fire Emblem doesn't sell as well as some other Nintendo ones, but it's uniquely suited to this kind of game because every Fire Emblem, and there are 14 main entries, has like 30 or 40 like named playable characters with like backstories and personalities and unique designs. So it's like a character factory. And then you have something like Metroid, where it's just Samus and bad guys, right? Just like gross alien dudes she shoots. So there's no one else really besides her to put in it. Like obviously Ridley, but he's, you know, blah, blah, blah. So people get mad that other series don't have as much representation, but Fire Emblem just works. And also Sakurai, the guy who makes Smash Brothers, is like the world's biggest Fire Emblem fan. So it all works out wonderfully, but...
So suck it, non-Fire Emblem fans. If you want a better Smash Brothers, make your own company and make a game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, isn't that what people are always telling other people who are looking for more representation in game? Suck it, like make your own game?
Yeah, but don't make your game a certain way that they don't like, because then they'll just... Never mind. Let's try not to go down the political hole again, because there was a Republican debate. Like, was it last night?
Yep.
And I just unplugged the internet and laid face down on the floor and just.
Look, I'm sorry. I like to poke the tar puddle. Okay.
Okay. I watched almost the whole thing.
Jesus, Leon, you are a sick masochistic bastard.
I wanted to actually participate in the hashtag and discuss and
discuss what?
Frankly, debunk a lot of what was said.
You just stared into the abyss, Leon.
I don't want to just like. Look, it's everything they say is garbage, and
exactly.
I recognize that, but sometimes the garbage people win. And I feel like we need to be vigilant. So I've been watching the debates, and I've been trying to stay as informed as possible, as I usually do. But I
Leon,
guess,
speaking as somebody from a country where like progressive, cool, and hot just won.
Yeah,
you're doing your country a service.
I'm trying my best.
So, Leon, which candidate is most afraid of brown people? Because that seems to be the issue they're all fighting over. Because some of them, they're afraid that brown people are going to take our jobs. Some people are afraid that brown people are going to blow us up. Like, that's the thing that they're always arguing about, is who's more scared. They all seem pretty scared.
They do all.
Who's your favorite racist coward?
Oh God! Look, actually, someone asked me last night, like, of everyone, who is the least worst. And I guess like Kasich or Pataki aren't like they're
Those
not
like tennis ball brands. Like I don't even know these people.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's between like Bush, Cruz, and Trump, right?
No, it's not really accurate. But Bush he's almost nowhere in the polls. In nationally anyway, Trump is still number one.
Right. Can we talk about them in Three Stooges terms?
Wait, I mean, Romney got the nomination last time.
Who's Larry?
Doesn't mean you're not going to be a front runner.
Who's Larry, Leon?
Well, who has the worst hair?
Well, you know who has the worst hair.
No, Jesus Christ, they all have terrible hair, don't they? I guess never mind. I'm sort of I had like something important to say, and now I've completely lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Continue on.
I know, and I genuinely forget what I was going to say.
Somebody asked you who the least worst was.
The least worst people are basically, and I mean, you know, I don't vote for conservative Republicans typically, which is no huge surprise. But there's a difference between an old school Republican who's just, you know, he's just a conservative Republican, and he's not. It's not. How do I put this? Sometimes Republicans are just people who want government to be small, but are not assholes. Mm-hmm. So, and you know, I mean, I have a bunch of friends and colleagues who are Republicans, and they're all perfectly nice people, and I'm sure they hopefully think the same about me. Sir, there is just a breed of conservative Republican politician right now that there's this term, and I forget the person who coined it, but there's a larger term for it, but it's also just called the political window. The political window. And what it basically means is acceptability of issue, acceptability of proposal, and that means within this window there are ideas that the populace will find acceptable, and just outside of the window are fringe ideas that will make anything within the window, even if it seems kind of extreme, acceptable.
It's the Overton window.
Overton window. Thank you for that. And because Trump has gone so extreme, other extreme ideas that are being pushed by far right Republican politicians seem reasonable and seem like they're in the Overton window right now.
Like he says, I want to kill the families of terrorists, and like that's obviously super crazy, but it raises the level of batshit crazy everyone else can get away with because other people.
What if I just want to imprison the families of terrorists?
Right.
And people will say, well, that's not as crazy as Trump, and in that way, that kind of normalizes a higher level of discourse.
Right.
But yeah, what you're saying basically is there's almost like a war for the heart of conservatives in this country between people who are like ideologically like just on one side, and some people who are like actually crazy racist monsters, and they just happen to be in the same party.
Right.
It's like any like group with really strong opinions. Obviously, in America, I think the closest thing is like Christianity. Like there are plenty of perfectly nice, like normal, healthy Christian people, and then there are like the kinds who like shoot up abortion clinics, right? And they happen to be in the same group, but their actual beliefs might not even resemble each other.
Right.
It's pretty terrifying, but the upside is if Carson and Trump end up spinning off from the GOP because they can't get the nomination the way that, you know, legitimately they'll end up splitting that vote and being unable to win.
One of the big pieces of news that actually came out of the debate was that Trump said that he would not do that. He'd sort of been flirting with it more as a threat than anything else, but he like very publicly said during the debate, I believe, that he would not do that. Which I to me that would be like, oh, please do, because yes, that would basically hand the victory to the Democrats. But I think he knows that.
Yeah, I'm curious because I'm pretty sure him saying that or flirting with it was like a bullying tactic to try to get his way, and he saw maybe it wasn't going to work, and so it's kind of a, you know, I'd rather we win than me pull this fucking move and end up losing.
Yeah, the concerning
He'd
thing.
rather follow in heaven than lead in hell, so to speak.
The problem. Everyone keeps, and I'm sure I've thought this as well, so I'm certainly not immune to this. Everyone keeps thinking that, well, all it's going to take is for Trump to say one outrageous thing that's just a bridge too far for people for his support to falter, and then he won't be number one anymore. He won't even be number two. He'll just like fall to the wayside with the Lindsey Grahams of the world. But what's happened is like when he made his extremely frightening far right statement that even some of his people in his own party have also called.
Leon? Sorry, I just need you to clarify for a foreigner here. Which one of his extremely far-right statements are you referring to?
I was getting to that before you jumped into my sentence. But,
God damn it, Leon! You should bar him from entering your sentences. We need to have a policy where no foreigners can enter your sentences.
I just want to be educated, all right?
Okay, that even members of his own party would call it fascist, that being the statement that he would ban all anyone who identifies as a Muslim from coming into the country. When he said that, a lot of people think, oh, well, this is it. Because even House Speaker Paul Ryan, who normally doesn't say anything against any Republicans because, it's the Ronald Reagan rule, very strongly denounced that. I'm not a big fan of Paul Ryan, but, that was, the right thing to do. And a bunch of other Republicans says, this is disgusting. A lot of people have said, oh, well, this is the point where too many Hitler comparisons are going to pile up and people are going to drop his support for him. But no, it's actually increased. And
yeah, because a lot of Americans believe the same things. Like he's speaking for actual people who have his beliefs.
There's an issue of where we're wondering if it's correlation and causation, and like maybe his support is just increasing by coincidence around the time he said that. But it seems like it might be. So yeah, I don't know how far this goes. I'll
Do you want to know, Leon?
No, I don't.
Take a drag off of this pipe right here, and let's you and me go down the rabbit hole.
I don't know how far this goes. If it actually, see, in my mind, the rational part of my mind says, look, even though it says like Trump has like 35 to 40% of Republican voters saying they, will vote for him. That just means most Republicans don't, which means that, but we're not sure if like, is he their second choice though? And that's the concerning thing. If he has 40% of the Republican vote, that could mean that 60% of Republicans just denounce him outright, or it could mean that they like someone else, but are pretty comfortable with Trump, and that's the part I'm not sure about.
Statistical analysis.
Right. Well, I'd like
here on Word Funk.
I'd like to see more polls that not only ask potential Republican voters who is their first choice, but also their second choice. They did that. They did one of those a while back, but that's not as common. Anyway, yeah. Statistical stuff. Not interesting radio, and I'm sorry that we went down this too much.
Yeah, I apologize to especially our foreign listeners who have no dog in this fight at all and could not care less if America implodes on itself.
Yeah, I have some skin in the game as an American, but I
have really good Muslim friends, and I don't want to see them in concentration camps. That would be nice.
That's also that.
Even as a foreigner, guys, I can say to you that, there's a certain amount of dog in the fight that the world has in what route America decides to take. Yeah. Particularly when some of your candidates are like, fuck yeah, I'll carpet bomb everybody.
Oh my god, yeah. That's true. We're like, I guess we're all sharing the same like neighborhood, so if the American house lights itself on fire, it's probably not good for everyone else as well, huh?
In all honesty, I've been looking into who do I speak to at the Canadian Embassy to start my application. You laugh as I say that, but no, in all seriousness, that's like an actual possibility, and not just if Trump wins, although that would help make my decision easier. But yeah, I have been considering possibly moving to Canada within the next few years, regardless of the election results.
I looked into it. It's way too expensive, and also Canada's really cold.
It's
Hey.
there are ways that based on what I've looked into that makes it a little easier for me because I'm self-employed. So that's like a thing that makes it a little better for me. But that's
And also,
my
Austin, I get better weather on the west coast of Canada than you do in Baltimore, Leon. So.
Yeah. Well,
Oh gosh.
Anyway, so there are other things we can talk about. I guess.
Boring, annoying liberals. Sorry.
My God.
See, the downside of this just being a friends talking podcast is sometimes we get on topics that are only interesting to us. The upside is sometimes we say stupid shit and embarrass ourselves, and you can laugh at us. So you take the good with the bad. Questions or?
I don't know. I guess.
I have something I want to talk about.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I mean, like, right at the beginning of we were like, hey, topics. I was like, yeah, I was in a fever dream, and I think I watched 2 episodes of a TV show.
Okay.
You think that's a good start. You're not sure.
Well, no, I mean, it still exists on my digital video recorder, my DVR, or my PVR, or my VR, or I don't know, It's my video box. So... Yeah, this is it's a show that's been made by Syfy. I think in America you call it sci-fi.
Not anymore, right? Did they rebrand it again?
I genuinely don't know.
Okay, all right, just checking. Anyways,
It was a sci-fi, then it was a Syfy. I don't know if it's back yet.
No, it's still Syfy as far as I know.
Okay.
But it comes to our Canadian network known as Space or Space, possibly. And it's called The Expanse, all right? And it's based on a series of novels by, God damn it, James Corey, I think his name is. And I am just like, I've only seen the first 2 episodes of this. Okay, all right. So the first thing, I didn't even know it was coming. But on Monday, I was rolling around in bed in a fever, occasionally waking up enough to visit the restroom and get a very large glass of water. And when trying to get back to sleep again, in that kind of like weird pain that you get sometimes with a fever, where even your like bed linens are like knives, 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 knives. I was just like grab my phone and kind of like look through Twitter, and I saw that Phil Plait had endorsed this show. He was like, yeah, they sent me the first 4 episodes or something like that. Now, okay, I don't know if you know who Phil Plait is. Popularly, he's known as the Bad Astronomer. He writes a lot of blogs. He's made a number of books, including one of my favorites, Death from the Skies.
That sounds like a really sweet metal album.
Death from the Skies?
Yeah, is that by Opeth? Who's that by? I want to listen to that.
Like it's basically a book about like, okay, how is the world gonna end? Well, we've got a bunch of options, so let's look at them all.
If you want to know how the world's gonna end, refer to the last segment we just did on this show. I think that's a pretty good indication.
In any case, Phil Plait is he's pretty big in the skeptic community. And I think you guys know that I'm a subscriber to the Skeptical Inquirer. I think I've talked about the Skeptical Inquirer on the show before anyways.
I had never heard of it, and then you told me about it.
So anyways, they sent the first 4 episodes to Phil Plait. And he did a write-up, I think for Slate, but I'm not sure, about this TV show, The Expanse. So he had nothing but good things to say about it. And when when an astronomer, like physicist, somebody who is in the field of science says, "Oh, hey, this science fiction has like really cool science in it. I pay attention." And I did even when I was a little bit ludicrously above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And he was like, yeah, the first episode's on tonight. And I was like, oh, God, I need to go record it. And like I said, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but it's a really good show. It depicts a universe where, like, Mars is colonized and completely civilized and everything, just as much as Earth. And Mars and Earth are at odds with each other, and the universe at large depends on minerals that are taken out of the asteroid belt by a bunch of people who live in the asteroid belt called belters. And it stars Thomas Jane, as he is credited in this, as a hard-drinking asteroid cop.
Is that similar to a motorcycle cop?
No. It's like he's a cop on.
He rides asteroids. I get it.
No, he's a cop on Ceres, which is apparently like a dwarf planet that exists in and around the asteroid field. And he gets, like, assigned a case off the books to find this, like, rich politician's daughter. And it's like there are all these amazing touches to the show that just make it kind of pop as high sci-fi, where, like, they talk about how people who grew up in the asteroid belt are recognizable because the low gravity has made their bones, like, non-compressed. So people who live on the asteroids in slang are called long bones. And, like, every time he pours a drink on Ceres, you see him put the glass, like, way out of the way because it doesn't drop straight down. It kind of floats on an angle. And he looks like he's been doing it his entire life. He's just like, pour, done,
That's my nickname, too, for other reasons.
Long bones?
This show has become a personal quest to annoy Leon. Am I winning?
But
yeah.
One of the executive producers on the show has a PhD in physics. And apparently when they're doing scenes, he'll draw diagrams and be like, okay, so when zero gravity happens, you don't just go, like, shooting out into the middle of nowhere. This happens, and then if you grab something and you pull on it and blah, 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 it's good. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but so far it's really good. Like, it's science fiction.
But does Neil deGrasse Tyson show up? That's the important thing.
Like, I'm sorry,
so
I'm applying.
Sci-fi.
No, well, I'm appealing. It is hard sci-fi, but at the same time, I'm appealing to you, Leon, because Tom Jane is a hard-drinking, no-nonsense asteroid cop.
I may have to watch.
Who takes cases off the books, yo.
Yeah. According to what I'm reading, there have been only 4 episodes so far, so it'll be pretty easy to catch up on it.
I've only seen the first 2.
Okay.
I want to see a show called Asteroid Cop starring Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he rides his asteroid from crime scene to crime scene. How does that grab you? You guys want to see that?
I think I'd like to see a show where Neil deGrasse Tyson was the chief asteroid cop.
So he sat at his asteroid desk and he gives, like, cases to Bill Nye the Science Guy who rides around on asteroids.
But, like, really, no. Bill Nye the Science Guy would have to be, like, the lieutenant or something like that. And then there'd have to be some, like, young, hotshot physicist who's like, every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction. And he, like, gives the chief the finger. He's like, react to this, chief.
Yeah, I can see that. That's good.
So, and then Bill Nye would be the guy who steps in and is like, whoa, none of that. And the chief is like, Neil deGrasse Tyson is like, you're in my office at 3, or else we're going to talk about rainbows and the reflection of light again.
And here's the twist, right? Here's the hook. It's the Kerbal Police Department, and it's actually all about the Kerbal space dudes, right? It's actually an adaptation.
See,
that way you-
Austin, why
yeah.
aren't we in TV development? We could sell this series to Netflix.
I think we just did it right there. That's what's called a pitch, guys. We just pitched that.
Yep.
All right. So, Wordfunk Productions. Damn, we've never given anybody but Sean's email address.
Yeah, don't send the royalty checks to Sean. He doesn't deserve those.
But yeah, I mean, I'm giving him my endorsement on the first 2 episodes, guys. The Expanse.
Okay.
So, I think viewers should check it out. I think you two should check it out as well, because when a physicist recommends science fiction to me, I kind of go, ooh.
Is there like streaming sci-fi shows, or is that only on the television?
No, I think you can. I know that you can stream the first 2 episodes from Space.
In Canada,
which I believe is called the Space Channel. Excuse me. I don't know. It might be available to you, Austin. Have you tried Googling the Space Channel?
No, I'm still looking at this list of sandwiches and just fuming silently.
You gotta comment. Just like walk it off.
Did you say comet? Was that a space pun?
No.
What is the? Oh my god.
Hey, you guys just want to go for the record for worst episode? I think there's time.
Let's do questions, and then we can put the blame on our audience in case it doesn't go well.
How you been, Austin?
I mean, I've been better, but
Yeah.
Look at these sandwiches, though.
Some of them look pretty good. Have you ever had a banh mi?
No, I think we had this discussion on a previous episode, which says a lot about us. It's the Vietnamese sandwich.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Get on that shit.
I'm really interested in all the ones I can't pronounce, because I feel like those are like really new experiences, because a lot of these are just like ham. Like, yeah, you put ham on a sandwich, it's the ham sandwich. Wikipedia.
Yeah, you saw that Netherlands one that I was talking about?
No, I'm looking at like what?
It starts with like a K. It's like.
Yeah. You want to try again?
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Here we go. It's called the. Okay, no, it's not.
Like, here's one. It's called the Media Noche, which is just Spanish for midnight. What is it's just a Cuban sandwich.
Okay. It's called the Bruges croquette.
Yeah, I believe you.
It starts with a B. I mean, it's Broodje. Bruges croquette.
I see it. I would just say Bruges. Bruges croquette.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Look, the worst that can happen is you're wrong and someone corrects you, right? Then you've learned.
It's true. It's true. I had somebody correct me on Twitter this week because I had the misfortune of @ing somebody with a lot of followers really early after a question. And then you give like everybody else a long time to
Google it.
And then
What's the point of asking factual questions on the internet, right? Because in the time you type it into Twitter and like send it out, people can just Google it, right? You could just Google the right answer. If it's an opinion, that's one thing because you can't find that information.
Yeah.
But it seems that
I think it was being baited.
Yeah, it's a trap.
Yeah, and I didn't notice. Because it wasn't well. It was sad.
I found something called the smorbrode. I don't know how you pronounce the O with this slash through it. That's an interesting word. I'm more interested in the words than the sandwich, right? Because there's only so many things you can put on bread, but there's an infinite combination of letters you can put together.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of different kinds of bread.
You got me there.
I mean,
I wonder if Leon's going to cut all this out, because this is hot garbage. I was going to talk about the hagelslag, which is a Netherlands sandwich with chocolate sprinkles or flakes, usually served on buttered bread. Netherlands, what are you doing? What are you doing, the Netherlands?
Amazing things.
So, Austin, why don't we go
Questions.
why don't we go to your questions first?
Hang on, I have a question first because somebody apparently figured out that they could ask me questions in the middle of the week, and I'd be like, I don't know, I'll bring it to the guys.
I mean, yeah, you can ask questions anytime. It's just that when
Yeah,
we do this
it doesn't-
show, I pull up the question tweet so that they're all there, so it helps group them.
So the question that I have is, have either of you guys seen the Powers TV show that Sony's been doing for their PlayStation Media thing?
No, and like it sounds fine. I just never like I'm gonna watch some TV now. I'll turn on the PlayStation Network. Like that just never happens, right?
No,
Like I'm gonna watch
cool.
something. It's gonna be on Netflix or something.
I figure. Leon, have you seen it?
No.
Have either of you read the comic it's based on, Powers by Brian Michael Bendis?
No.
No, but I've heard you said it was good, right?
Yeah, I did. Okay, thanks. That was my question.
I'm sure it's fine. It's just weird to go onto like a video game store to watch streaming television.
I find that weird about Steam these days.
I mean, I never watched it. I know they sell like stuff to watch, but I've never watched anything through it.
You can get all the Mad Max movies on Steam. You can buy Mad Max on Steam.
Yeah, I mean that's the way of the future to have accounts and be able to access all your media through them. But I'm still diversified. I've got them all separate. Question, guys.
Yeah, that was the only one that I had, so go right ahead.
All right. JM, I'm going to say Balls. It's BALS, but I don't know. Bals says, have you ever revisited a game or movie that you loved and realized that it isn't good? Mine is Another / Out of This World, depending on your region. That's a super good question.
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
I mean, that's definitely happened to me a lot. It's hard to just grab one out of the ether, though. I'd have to think about it some. But, I mean, definitely a lot of stuff you grow up with. Like if you ever try to revisit it, like maybe Banjo-Kazooie, that might be blasphemy, but I don't think I'd want to play it now.
I mean, I thinking back to a lot of shows like cartoons I watched in the '80s, they're mostly shit. Thinking about them now and trying.
Oh, Power Rangers. Power Rangers.
They're pretty much all really bad, but they're not. That's different though. It's not like if I watched and enjoyed something when I was like 19 or 20, which is still fairly young. And my opinion on it changed when I'm well into my 30s now. That's different from when you watch something with no, when you're 7 years old and you don't know shit, and then you try to watch it now because they didn't make a lot of cartoons back in the day that are, how do I put this? They were geared. Cartoons now can be geared towards children and adults. Cartoons when you're very young, when I was very young, were not that. At least a lot of them were not that.
I would say most TV back then, regardless of demographic, was pretty much garbage.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Honestly, that I think that's true too. There's a few exceptions here and there, but yeah, there. I mean, it was a lot of dreck for a very long time. That's why television was thought to be like this inferior product for even up until only recently. Honestly, I mean, it took like tons and tons of premium cable, great shows, and Netflix, and a ton of other advancements before television was even now that it's almost on the same level as film. I mean, because it was, and to some extent it still is, just a lot of dreck.
Yeah, it's harder to think of an answer to this question where the first time you saw it and then when you had a change of heart was when you were an adult, because you're kind of the same person as an adult, and when you're a kid you're an entirely different and stupid person.
Yeah.
Well, it's especially difficult for the genre of gaming because when we think about television has had decades to mature. Like, we're in the mid 2015s. Let's say that television really kind of came into the mainstream around the 50s. Okay. All right, that's just like, I don't know, a sort of a shoulder shrugging estimate, I suppose. But even then, like, television was struggling between like, okay, well, black and white or color.
You're saying that we're in like the adolescence of television, but we're like in the infancy of video games.
Not even the adolescence of television, like maybe the young adulthood where we're like, are you thinking about going to college? And some TV shows have their shit together, They're like, fuck yeah, I got this down. I'm going to kill some principal characters. Nobody's going to be safe. Going to make people feel some feels. Going to be sensitive to some others, but I got a pretty definite idea where I'm going. And then some other TV shows are like, I don't know, make people laugh.
Damn, just taking comedy shows out to the woodshed.
But, games are still trying to figure out how to be themselves. They're still trying to figure out how to... I mean, not even the audience can recognize what's a game and what's not a game at this point in time.
Or, I mean, the ones with half a brain can. It's not complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be inclusive here, Austin.
I know. Oh, The Legend of Zelda. That's a good answer. When I played that like many years ago, I was like, yeah, this is fun. And I play it now. I'm like, this is the worst. I'm in hell. Send me an elevator to get me out of hell. I am in hell.
Well, that's the thing is that, immediately the games that leaped to my mind were a lot of the Sierra adventure games.
Oh, because God, unplayable.
Well, this is the thing is that I cut my teeth on these games.
Myst!
No, you see, the problem was that I knew that there was a problem with Myst when Myst came out.
But nobody else did. You were Cassandra. No one would listen to you.
Yeah. Nobody else still does. Everybody still thinks it's a fucking classic.
But I mean, his example, Another World, when that came out, that was like revolutionary, those graphics and stuff, and it was like the most cinematic thing. And now you go back and it's like Dragon's Lair, basically, where you have to do very specific things where it just fucking kills you. And like that is not acceptable anymore. But I feel like that's basically in line with the growth that video games have gone through, where a lot of other mediums have much more of a history to draw from. So,
and that's what I'm trying to say is that it's a little difficult to say something that you played when the limitations of the medium were so that you couldn't necessarily go beyond what was presented, and at the same time your level of understanding of what made good storytelling and what was good gameplay just because of things that you were exposed to. Like those are two very specific limitations that grow in time in the same direction. And it's really easy to look back on those things and be like, wow, well that's a shit blank. When really it's kind of like, well, it's a classic, but kind of in a weird archaeological sense, even though it's only 25 years old or something.
And as everyone knows, GameFAQs has proved that all those classics are inferior to Undertale, and it's legally binding. Everyone has to burn their copies of Ocarina of Time, because it's not as good as Undertale. Internet. All right, new question. Creature asks, oh God, you asshole. He asks, Fursona, do it. The humiliation needs to be complete. And complete is in all caps. Guys?
What?
Fursona. I assume you know what that means. Please don't make me explain what a fursona is on this podcast.
I think I understand. I missed what you said before you said fursona. What?
Okay. No, I'm afraid you're going to have to explain it to me, Austin.
Oh, fuck. Oh, man. This episode's going to have to be called the one where Austin explains personas to Johnny, because this is gross.
I'm just going to recline here for a second.
Oh, hold on. Let me pull up WikiFur, the furry wiki, which is a real thing that I just looked up.
I was worried that this was going to be our worst episode, but I think
now you're certain.
I think it's now going to be our best. Tell us all about it.
A fursona, plural fursonas, sometimes furson, a portmanteau of furry and person, or refers to a, in the parentheses, normally furry, character, persona, alter ego, avatar, or identity assumed by a person or player, normally associated with the furry fandom. So it's kind of like a spirit animal, but the implication is that like inside you are this, or like, I guess if you were an anthropomorphic animal in the furry fandom, like what fursuit would you wear to show people that you're a furry? Like, I'm totally like oversimplifying this.
Yeah.
And I know, but like we've if we go back to like early episodes, I think of the BT podcast, we joked about furries, and some people were like, "No, actually, here's what furries are," and then we felt like assholes for making fun of them because apparently it's like not necessarily like a gross weird thing. It's like it doesn't hurt anybody, so whatever. Like it's like we're gonna giggle because we're idiots. That's the thing. So Fursona, we need to humiliate ourselves. That's the power of this question segment of Word Funk, is that we'll.
So wait,
literally
are we being asked what our fursonas are?
Oh yeah, 100%. That is what's happening right now.
I guess the obvious answer would be that I would be a lion, but I feel like that's too on the nose. So I'm gonna say a scorpion. That's like the least sexy animal that there is. Just a giant scorpion. That's too
cool.
I know.
No offense, Leon. You're cool, but you're not that cool.
No, I'm not cool. I just want to. If I have to, like, dress up as an animal and go to a furry convention, I don't want anyone like being that into me. I just kind of want everyone to be like, "Ew, what is that?" In fact, let me make it even worse. Roach. I would probably wear the thing that would keep people away from me as much as possible. And
because they're shiny and you're shiny? Also, why do you want to keep furries away from you? There's nothing wrong with them. Come on, they're people.
There's nothing wrong with furries. I just happen to not be one. And if I like basically were forced to go to a convention, dressed up as an animal, I wouldn't want to deal. Let me rephrase all of this. When I go to actual like non-furry conventions, people are cosplaying all over the place, and I think it's great. But I don't want to cosplay, and not as an animal. I just mean I don't want to cosplay at all because I don't like people looking at me very much. Friend of mine on Twitter, we started talking about cosplay, and I said that I could just wear a suit and then I could be Lex Luthor. But that's
or he
probably...
give you a huge comical mustache and you could be Robotnik.
No, that's shut up. that would still require some sort of red suspenders or something. No, but that would be as far as I would go with cosplaying because I don't like drawing attention to myself. And that's not me trying to be humble. I just mean I'm very uncomfortable socially. Yeah.
So Leon, let's guess Johnny's answer before he unleashes it. Do you think you have an idea?
Before we say it, Johnny, you have to commit to one in your mind. So that if
I've already got it.
Okay. I'm gonna say parrot.
Parrot, that's good. I'm trying to think of a smart animal, but one that's still kind of a weird dork.
Owl.
You know what I'm saying? How about a chameleon? They're pretty smart.
Are they?
I think so.
All right. Do you guys know what I was going for?
What were you going for?
My mind jumped to the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh.
I think rabbits is probably a pretty popular answer.
But it has to be that specific one.
It has to be that specific one because, like rabbits in fiction are often depicted as being kind of nervous and squirrely and, like kind of fast. But it's like this one, it has to be because he's well dressed, one.
And rabbits are super horny. Johnny, are you trying to tell us something?
Two, he thinks he's in control of his shit. Like, he thinks he's on top of it because he's got a hat and a fucking watch and shit like that. But despite all that, he's always like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, I can see that.
That's me all over. That's it right there. Just like having these moments of just being like, "Oh geez, hey, how you doing? Welcome to oh Jesus Christ!" And then suddenly disappearing.
All right.
So I think mine's pretty obvious. Do you guys want to try to guess?
Because
sloth.
Fuck, just double nailed it.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows.
All right, next.
You're just not energetic enough to be a ferret. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know. No, that would definitely be second choice, but it's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm an open book. Everyone knows me. All right. Sarah Wheeler asks, what would your younger self, middle school / high school, think of where you are or / where you are now? And then caveat, second post is, sorry if that's a downer. I've been real introspective this week.
I'm sorry.
Which is it, middle school or high school? Because I have very different opinions of myself.
Could you repeat that? Because I feel like I missed part of that.
what would your younger self, and then in parentheses, middle school / high school,
Okay.
think of who / where you are now?
Sell out. Dark. What happened to your head?
I think all of us would think that, maybe for different reasons. Just what happens to anyone's head over time, right?
It's just I feel like a young me would who is but at the same time more idealistic than myself, but and also, how do I put this? Not even idealistic, just hard-lined about certain things.
Well, because when you're that age, you think you got shit figured out.
Right. So yeah, I feel like my young self would have a negative opinion on who I turned out to be, and then I'd be like, "Shut up, young Leon."
I can beat your ass.
Yeah. No, I don't think I think young Leon and me, Leon, would mostly just slap at each other, and they would just not know what to do. I feel like it would be a draw.
So you haven't gotten any better at fighting?
No, I told you. I've been in God, the last time I was in a fight was middle school, and it was really just me throwing rocks. So that doesn't really count.
I think young Austin could definitely kick old Austin's ass. He was like jacked. He had a mohawk. For real though. It was
Austin, if you have any pictures of that, I would love to see it.
I've never been a fan of pictures, so I don't know if any exist of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think young me would most be surprised that I'm even alive. Like, I think that would be a shock.
Yeah. Episode 100 is Austin Origins, everyone. So just save the day.
Johnny, would young you be surprised at like how like normal you are? I think you're the normie. We've established this, so I feel like that would be the biggest surprise.
First of all,
yeah,
old Johnny would kick the fucking shit out of young Johnny.
You're the only one.
Young Johnny was a scrawny guy in a dress. You're
Young Johnny was a breeze. Like, young Johnny was like a vague whisper that moved through a room that went, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
You're the only one who's leveled up. You grinded for some levels, Johnny.
I didn't grind for some levels, son. I paid my dues. I fought some boss battles. I'm well ahead. That like Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, my fucking black belt test was 9.5 hours long.
I think training is grinding, and it's the closest it comes, don't you think? I don't know any other way to put that.
Yeah, I suppose maybe it is. You know, I suppose it is an analog for training because you're facing up against things that are relatively around your level. Okay, yeah, but see, that's the thing, is that it was like, if it was grinding, you'd be pounding things that were way below you just to like get above. But I mean, that's not the case when you're training. When you're training, you're always trying to like push your envelope. So you're always trying to push your level. Not that
RPG
matters.
Metaphors.
Well, I don't think that young Johnny would pick a fight with old Johnny. I think that really young Johnny would be like, "Why aren't you farther ahead?"
Mm.
And
did you think you were going to be like a rock star by this age?
No. I thought I was gonna be like my dad. I thought I was gonna go into business and wear suits to work every day and have kids and, you know, like, yeah. I thought I was gonna be a way more a normie than I currently am. And I think that high school Johnny would probably just make an expression with his face and walk away.
You were so cool in middle school or high school. I want to party with high school Johnny.
Nah, you probably didn't.
Oh.
Nah, you probably didn't.
Oh no. I'm looking through the questions here, and these they do not get any easier.
Okay. I mean, we gotta save the show somehow. So
that's okay. I've had to grapple with some very serious aspects of my relationship for the past 2 weeks. So.
Okay. We're gonna have to cut some here because the next question has a audio-visual component.
What? No.
Yes. No, this worked out last time. I think this is the same person who asked us
Is
about
this gonna be an erotic toothbrush scene?
Yes, I think it's one of those. I think it's the person who asked us to watch They sent another one. Here's what the question says.
All right.
It's Brent who asks questions all the time. He says, "Have you guys seen the bug porn scene from this anime called Shimonetta?"
Okay,
And
first of all, Brent, you're not selling the scene very well. You're not telling me that I should really watch this thing.
But we're watching it.
Oh,
It's
God.
happening.
I clicked on it now.
Let's see how long I last this time.
It's 2.5 minutes. We'll see how long it takes to get super weird.
Can you guys hear my audio?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let the audience play along with us. Okay, so there's two people and they have like a tiny pair of panties, and the boy is upset about it for some reason. The woman just took off her glasses and her hair went down, so like in hot librarian mode, and now what we're seeing, I'm basically explaining this to people who are listening to a radio program of us watching something.
There's no reason for us to get good at this now.
Yeah, I know. It's like watching Shia LaBeouf watch his movies. You're not really watching the movies. So there's all these kids and naked, well, not fully naked, but partly naked women in card form, like the hottest Pokemon cards ever, fell out of the ceiling, and everyone's looking at them, and they're like, "Woo!" Because that doesn't happen in school much. I
think this is like a high concept sex comedy.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't take place in our world.
Oh,
Wait, this is high concept?
There's a concept. Okay.
High concept is that the people who made it were high as fuck.
Okay, so the boy is wearing a wig and panties over his face because
I think that's the girl.
No, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. It said wig, so I was confused. Okay, so there's two flies. I guess they're having sex. I mean, they're not moving, so it's hard to tell. It's more like still shots of two flies that are near each other.
Near each other? I think you need to be a little bit more specific.
I mean, they're on. The one is on. This isn't very explicit, actually. It's just. There's two flies. I'm not sure what the point of all this is.
Body meld.
Are they? Wait. Are they all? Wait, did they all come in their pants from watching it?
Yes, I think that the implication is everyone's coming. Although it's a Japanese thing, so you can just kind of assume that always.
Are they trying to like ruin these children for life, or are they trying to make them attracted to insects?
I think the concept of the show is like it's some alternate universe where like sex doesn't exist, and so they're like teaching them about sex or something.
Oh.
We watched this without having seen the show, so it was just a contextless thing of teenagers watching flies fuck, and then there was a bunch of visual metaphors for ejaculation, and then everyone fell down.
They look too young for me to be watching them come. That's how I feel.
I don't
Tell you
think
one thing about that clip.
Yeah, what?
There were no Star Wars spoilers in it.
Yeah, there's that.
as far as you know.
God damn.
I'm about to say that. Nope, can't make that joke.
All right. So
can you just insert a long like beep noise at a certain point to make it sound like we said something really filthy? Because I feel like that's what's expected of us at this point.
No.
But mostly we're so jaded that we're like, yeah, that was gross and weird in Japanese.
Well, I didn't like that at all.
Were you scandalized?
It was just, out of context.
You think there's a context that justifies that?
I'd be curious if there was.
So is that our thing now? Do people send us like softcore anime porn for us to?
No. Apparently, one guy sends us softcore anime porn twice.
Yeah, it's not like a thing for our audience. It's a thing for this one guy. He kind of gets off on us watching porn and explaining it to people. Um, I apologize for that last question and our reaction to it. Which
You think that was worse than the politics part?
no, I mean that had meaning. You know, I mean, I tried to say something important. I didn't succeed, but you know, there was effort. One more question, and then we got to go.
Do you have questions, Leon?
I do, but they're not good. So.
Damn, son. None.
Now, let me rephrase that. One's good, but it's only good for me. Like, it's asking me what my favorite episode of Renegade Cut is, but that doesn't really include you guys. My favorite, it's the Apocalypse Now episode because I thought that's where I sort of my show started getting solid. I mean, I would like to think that the 100 or so episodes before that were okay. But I think lately it's been better, and I guess that's my answer. But I'd rather do a question where we're all sort of a part of it, is what I'm saying.
Look at that. Leon's leveling up.
Yeah.
Well, you know what to say. You have to suck for like 10,000 hours before you're any good.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just part of the process.
Okay.
Yeah, the questions I have left are like people making fun of the Kirby thing, the Bayonetta thing that happened yesterday, and people asking things about like tabletop RPGs. So I don't know how much meat is on any of these bones here. So if you don't have any other questions, was there any other topics or?
Not really.
All right, I'll ask the tabletop one.
You sound pretty fed up, Leon. You all right? Not really.
I'm sorry. For some reason, I don't know what it is about this episode, but for some reason, even though I enjoy talking to you guys about it, for some reason, I feel like this is going to be one of those ones where, like, it's not going to be one of our more well-received ones. Because I don't know what we've talked about. I, like, forget everything we've said.
It's weird because I feel like when we do like super goofy, like gross episodes, I'll get a lot of comments. They're like, "Oh yeah, I love these. These are my favorite kinds." And then we do like serious, introspective ones about like us and about like topics, and people are like, "Oh yeah, these are my favorite." And there's two entirely different kinds of episodes people dig, and I don't know how much overlap there is. So I
don't know what this one was though.
There was like a 20-minute section about politics. I think this is clearly one of the serious episodes, right?
Was it? All right. I've lost all track of time and my head hurts. So.
Yeah, I think the bug porn thing might have thrown your perception of it out of whack, but that was only like a 2.5-minute segment.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back to reality now.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything you guys want to say or talk about before we go? Oh, let me plug my my episodes. The Star Wars episode dropped a few days ago, and it's getting a lot of hits, more than average. So I'm happy about that. No huge surprise there. My Christmas episode is coming up soon, and it's Brazil. So catch it.
That's my favorite movie ever.
I'm aware of your love of that. So you may or may not enjoy my video, depending on whether or not I do a good job. So. That's a common. I was wondering what I wanted to do for my Christmas episode, and because there aren't a lot of Christmas movies that I wanted to put out there, and then I did a search for like what are some movies that just take place during Christmas, and Brazil popped up. I was like, oh, this works enough, and I watched it. I'm like, there's a lot more Christmas stuff than just taking place during Christmas, but it's one of those diehards where people will debate whether or not it's a Christmas movie.
You should do It's a Wonderful Life, but just talk about the socialism. Because you know about that, right? Where people were like furious when it came out.
There's an excellent video about It's a Wonderful Life that just hit today from Nerdwriter, and he kind of nailed it. So
damn. All right.
I'm fine with that. He nailed it. It's a really good video, and everyone should check it out. It's called Understanding Art, It's a Wonderful Life, and you can find it on YouTube.
Cool. I mean, I have stuff coming out. I did a most anticipated video games of 2016 thing that came out. I think next week I'm going to do like top 10 albums of 2015, and then the week after that, top 10 games. So you can find that all on my Patreon. Obviously, I talk shit on Twitter, Austin Yorsky. You can find all that. That's the stuff I'm doing. I don't know. December's weird because people are all busy and moving around and stuff. So I don't even know how traffic's going to be unless you're talking about Star Wars. And everyone's talking about Star Wars.
Yep.
I'm even less busy than usual.
Okay.
Although, not for any real good reason or anything like that. I'm not putting anything out. I'm just kind of getting sick and stressing out. And...
Oh,
Got better, though.
that's good. I had an awesome week. Our last few days.
Well, good for you.
No,
Nice.
I went to the Hard Rock Cafe with Jess and my ex-wife on Monday, and that was a good time. And we went to a steampunk bookstore, which was also fun.
Wait, what makes a bookstore steampunk? Just the aesthetic?
The aesthetic. Yeah,
okay,
I
I
don't.
was sure if they have steampunk books.
No, I mean I'm sure they do. But it's a massive bookstore that's made to look like steampunk, and it's just a Barnes and Noble that's massive and steampunk.
Did you just get hit? Like, did you get hit with any steam while you were there?
I was not hit with it. It's just the aesthetic.
There was steam there.
No, I don't mean there's literally steam. I mean if you it looked like steampunk armor or something. Look,
If Gabe Newell dressed up in like ripped jeans and like had sunglasses and motorcycle gloves on, would he be a steampunk?
just oh my god.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
All my new clothes came today, so I'm happy about that. I have new I have good like suits for MagFest.
Can we do a weekly segment about men's fashion?
It's rare that I buy clothes. So
I just noticed both of you guys' Skype avatars are wearing black t-shirts, and I am wearing a black t-shirt currently. We're like some kind of weird fucking boy band at this point.
It's not a black t-shirt. It's a long black shirt. You just can't tell. But yeah.
Whatever.
And Austin, that is an artistic interpretation of me. All right, it's not actually what I'm currently wearing right now.
That's how I always picture you, because that's all we see of you. So you look like that to me, as far as I'm
No,
concerned.
it's not.
It doesn't look like he doesn't look like that at all.
You got loads of drunk selfies of me on Saturday night at my company Christmas party, and you're like, I just always see you in a black t-shirt.
Yeah,
and
like a hat.
and every other weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that too.
All right, I guess we got to close out the show.
Oh no, I do want to talk about one thing.
Oh shit.
I was gossiping about boys with Jess. And here's a question that I wanted to propose to you, or pose to you, that we talked about, and get your input on it. Brad Pitt, hotter in the 90s or now?
Hottest during the Guy Ritchie film Snatch, when he has all those tattoos and he's bare knuckle boxing dudes.
Well, when was that though? When did that come out?
I will check right this moment, because
Okay.
not only hottest Brad Pitt, perhaps hottest human.
Okay.
Came out in 2000.
Okay. I still feel that's close enough. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
there's like a youthful sexiness to him, and then there's like a distinguished older sexiness, and they're just like different flavors of Brad Pitt. I feel like.
Look, I've seen Brad Pitt now. He's still a handsome man, but I don't know. He look. I'm looking at his picture, and he just, I don't know. Maybe it's the mustache that I'm not feeling.
Certain people are into different looks. Like it's not like necessarily one or the other thing. It could just be for me, for you.
I understand that, but I don't know.
Have you guys seen Snatch though?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's real
Shut
good
up,
in that.
buddy.
Sauce.
One more thing. I'm
Uh-huh.
actually putting together the Channel Awesome Holiday special this year because I volunteered. So it's coming. It should drop Christmas Eve. So look for it. I'm going to be briefly in it, but honestly, the better segments are from a lot of the other contributors. But yeah, that's those are all the things I can possibly plug.
None of which either are Austin or I. So
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, why would we do that though? We're not Channel Awesome people, barely.
Yeah, you are. You just don't. You just make me do everything. So
True.
yeah. All right. Anything you guys want to say before we go? We've gone on far too long on a very, very bad episode.
I would say hopefully we'll do better next week, but that'll be like Christmas week. We're gonna give even less of a shit.
Yeah.
I wish I could hug a puddle.
I'm sorry for this, and I'm sorry for Johnny.
All right. We're doing Dice Funk tomorrow, right?
One hopes. It's not. It's literally. If it were up to me, we would do Dice Funk like 3 hours every day. But it's not up to me.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Give me a minute here because I'm sure there's a little bit of audience overlap.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dice Funk delays of late have been entirely my fault. I apologize for that. I've had some personal issues that kind of cropped up, and then rescheduling got kind of thrown adrift because failings of my health. I am going to try my best to make sure that Dice Funk stays on schedule as best I can from here on out. I don't think that these problems that I've had are going to be recurrent. So,
if there's anything you want to confess, now's the time, Leon, because no one's going to make it through this whole episode.
Oh.
So everything's safe right here. This is a total no listener zone.
Nothing I feel comfortable confessing to you guys. So.
Damn, we almost got him, Johnny. Next time.
Yeah.
Can I confess something?
Sure, what's up?
This habanero stout isn't spicy at all.
Oh. Sorry.
It's good. It's just not spicy. It said habanero on it. I was like, spicy beer. Let's do it.
It's the grossest thing I've ever heard.
You'll learn in time, Austin. You'll learn.
I hope not. All right, bye guys. We gotta get Leon out of here.
Yeah,
He's dying.
One of these days, I'm going to actually drink alcohol just as like a bucket list kind of thing, and I'm gonna hate it.
I've tried it. It's gross. It's super gross.
I'm okay with that, guys.
There's rum in my home right now. Not for me. Apparently you mix it with soda, which I sometimes have. That seems like the kind of thing I try to do, and then I just oh well, I'm never doing that again. But maybe I'm wrong. So
all right,
I'm gonna go now.